Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jordan Tolton, and I'm a Year 1 student in RVSLA. I'm your average overcommitted high school student who struggles with burnout but loves to be very busy. I currently participate in 2 leadership programs and play multiple sports. I don't know if anyone else here can relate, but I often experience serious cases of FOMO. I hate the thought that I may miss an opportunity or a fun time, so I show up for everything. Saying this, I was supposed to be standing up here in front of you all today to talk about how you can balance your life and avoid burnout. My 3 main points were supposed to be balance, the importance of relationships, and choosing to be kind to yourself. But if I'm honest, I'm still learning quite a bit about all these concepts. So instead of talking to you about them, I'm going to show you an example of them by living through my words. I will not be presenting a TED Talk to you all today, but rather collaborating on one with my good friend Jack. At the beginning of writing our talks, me and Jack were discussing some things that we wanted to talk about. One of the main contenders we came up with was men's mental health. Obviously, I'm not a guy, but I do have a dad, brother, boyfriend, uncle, and many guy friends. I love sharing my strong opinion that men need more space and support to share their emotions. I'm really honored Jack allowed me to help him with this project and give my perspective. So without further ado, let me introduce Jack Dempster.
Hey guys, my name is Jack, and I've come out here today to talk about, as Jordan mentioned, men's mental health. Before I start today, I also wanted to recognize that most people's vision on men's mental health, or anyone's mental health, is depression, anxiety, or other mental disorders. And yes, those are mental health issues. But that's not all what mental health is. Mental health is seen every day within every single person, whether that is you are nervous for a test, your dog is sick, or even the outfit you chose today isn't perfect. Anything that happens in your life is mental health, and it's really that simple. I also understand that everyone struggles with mental health, not just men. But today, I wanted to target my speech to men's mental health. So that leads to my talk. I myself am a 15-year-old boy. I attend Bow Valley High School, I play competitive hockey, and have an active social life. I personally have struggled with mental health in the past, and it was a dark time in my life. Not just for me, but for my parents, my older sister, and my friends. It felt like everything was impossible, and there was no solution. At this time, I'm looking around for anything or anyone to help, but I found little resources. I was desperate to figure it out and solve all my problems. But through this time, I also wanted to be normal and just to be like everyone else, puff up my chest and put a smile on. Some thoughts that went through my mind when asking for help were, what if they just laugh at me or tell me to man up? I didn't want to be seen as weak or less of a man. But why? Why, after everything I was feeling, why was I still worried to be seen as weak or less of a man? Because that's the standard that's put out for everyone. I want you guys to put your hand up if you've ever heard of the concept, manning up. I personally have heard it or felt this term many times in my life. I would love to share a few examples with you. The first one I thought about was related to hockey, because in a hockey game, you are taught to be tough and strong. But there are times you get hurt or you lose, and it really sucks. Of course, feelings of wanting to cry or shout come up, but you have to shove them down because staying in check and putting on a brave face is more important. I also was taught, as I grew up, that you shouldn't lay on the ice. No matter what I was feeling, if you were hurt or just upset, you do not lay on the ice. And if I did, I felt embarrassed or ashamed. I also have lost a lot of big games throughout my career. And this is a feeling I wouldn't wish upon anyone. Losing sucks, as we all know. But as I grow, I notice I care more about how I look to others than how I am feeling. I tried to hold in my tears because crying is weak. I must be strong. And that's what coaches and peers tell me. With hockey, I learned to man up. I learned to be strong. And yes, that's not totally a bad thing. The sport has taught me a lot about my life and a lot of great lessons. But there are times where you can cry or stay down and not hold it all in. It took me a very long time to come to this conclusion. I've also experienced this concept in school because not all days are perfect. When I struggle with school, or I'm stressed about something happening between me and someone else, there's a fear in me about going to guidance or getting support. It came down to 2 big reasons for me. One was it's scary to open up. It is for everyone. And 2, it's hard to be seen struggling. I didn't want to be embarrassed or ashamed being seen by my peers, or even for me, my dad as the principal. Which is why there was a period in my life where I would not open up. I instead would stay quiet about my emotions and feelings, if I'm being honest, it all just made it so much worse, bottling it up and not getting help. And I've learned that in these situations, trying to man up is not really the way to go. The basis of me learning to not show my emotions was from what I learned from others. From a young age, I saw men around me putting on a brave face and not allowing themselves to feel. This in turn taught me to do the same. Tough it out when I would feel. I know many can relate to this feeling, which is why I'm talking to you all today. In the past few years, people have started talking about it a lot more. And yes, you hear about it. And there's been little change. But there's lots of talk with little action. Still, most men refuse to open up about mental health, and the struggle goes unrecognized. But can you blame them? I never really understood why men's mental health is different from others. I don't understand why people have set the standard, and I don't know why there hasn't been more talk. And I really believe that there needs to be change. According to some research I've done, men's suicide rates are substantially higher than women's. And yes, nothing like that will change overnight or even by this talk. But the message I wanted to get through you all today is what you can do in your lives to support the men struggling in your life. Whether that is you being a man or a woman or a wife, a girlfriend, a sister, a friend. Whoever you may be, you have a male in your life. And what you can do for them is honestly just be there. It's really simple. Is check on them, ask them how they are, care for them, and just make them feel safe. Safe enough to open up. And even if they don't need that, then at least you're there and ready to listen. This goes a long way, trust me, it really does. And that can change someone's day or week or even year. And before we end this talk, I'm going to pass it back to Jordan to close it off. Thank you so much for listening to my message.
Wow, Jack, that was really awesome. In my eyes, this is true leadership. Standing up and speaking about a subject that you feel passionate about, and hoping that the crowd, all of you guys, will take home our message and expand on it. So before me and Jack leave you today, we would like for you to consider one more concept. In the beginning of forming our talk, I made a joke about how Jack over here was one of the only guys in RVSLA. But this joke opened our eyes a bit as we thought about it more. We realized that both our school leadership program and Rocky View leadership program mostly only had female leaders. But as we grow up and look into things like the business world, we see a lot of male leaders. After this realization, we looked into it and debated it with many people. We came to the conclusion that guys generally don't participate in leadership in their youth due to the stereotype that being in leadership makes you weird. All the guys we talked to felt they'd be judged if they joined. As for the issue of growing up and seeing a lot more males fall into leadership positions, well, this is plainly because of past and current sexist standards. Women don't feel they have the space to be a leader. I know this is a lot to digest and feels very controversial, but two messages we can take away from me and Jack's findings are as follows. Never be afraid of the judgment of others, and keep fighting for what you believe in. Again, thanks so much for coming and listening to our talk today.